Whoa, 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 Montana. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When that hate don't work, they start telling lies.
Route 99, it's your boy Warren Sapp, giving you what you like on the mic. That's right. And it's that time of year where it's not a lot of news, so it's going to be a lot of me. So here we go. I just left the Bo Jackson Invitational out in Las Vegas, Cascada, one of the beautiful golf courses in America. If you ever get an opportunity to go out to Las Vegas, you must visit this place because it's just beautiful, and the waterfall running through the whole place, and lovely greens, lovely fairways. I hit a bunch of them, too. Don't get mad. I do a lot more than 3 technique. That's right. And I was on the bus on our way back from the Invitational and had a good group, had a good time. The cart girl was not on her duties because whenever you out there on a golf course or you ever on the back of a boat or in a boat or on the side of a creek or bridge or wherever you like to fish and you don't have a cold one in a tight line, I have a problem with that. I really, really do. So we're on the way back, and Richard Dent, the old Chicago Bear, Super Bowl 20 MVP for the Chicago Bears when they slaughtered New England before any New England fans was out there. And Johnny Randall with 137 and a half sacks, both Hall of Famers. I see them every summer, so to see my brothers in the back of the bus, and we all good and tired from a nice hot day out in Vegas playing golf and having a couple cold beverages and a multitude of lovely cigars, no doubt about it. We're in the back of the bus, and we're just sitting there talking because it's football time and OTAs, and everybody have to get in there and get a little sweaty and get it going, and we went to talking about offensive linemen. And we were talking about the Dallas Five, and in particular, that monster, Eric Williams. And if you kids don't know who it is, you have to look up Eric Williams and go get you some YouTube and some tape, and it's before the car accident. Because before the car accident, Eric Williams was the finest right tackle that ever lived on God's green earth. And when I said it, it was like the air was sucked out of the room, out of the bus. And I looked back at Johnny Randall, and I looked back at Richard Dent, and Dent was back there nod. He was like, that boy hit me in the head one time. I mean, we went to telling stories, and Seth Joyner was in front of me. So we got Seth Joyner, middle linebacker. I mean, should be a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, because, well, we're getting in that in a little while, too. All right, there it is. So we sitting there, and we was talking, and we were talking about this Dallas Five. And if you don't know, the Five is Stepnoski, Mark Stepnoski at center, Nate Newton at one guard, Larry Allen, who is the finest blocking offensive lineman ever to play the game, if anybody to ask me. And that's how the conversation started, because I was on the bus with my playing partner. He looked at me and said, no, one of the other guys who played one of the other guys said, Warren, who's the toughest offensive lineman you ever faced? I was like, there's only one name that ever comes up with that situation, because Jonathan Ogden was playing in front of us the whole time. And this was a guy that was playing with Ogden, and I guess Ogden said the same thing because he's our Hall of Fame classmate. That's right, the 2013 Hall of Fame class with Larry Allen, Chris Carter, Curly Cope, Jonathan Ogden, Bill Parcells, Dave Robertson, and yours truly, Warren Sapp. You had a 50th class, the golden class. So we were talking about Larry Allen, and we got over from Larry Allen to the guy that was beside him, and that was Eric Williams. And my goodness, just the look on Johnny Randall's face and Richard Dent's face, because both of them, played in and, have an appreciation for what I'm talking about, because I never got an opportunity to go up against this monster. But I had Larry Allen, and then Seth Joyner was telling a story about Larry Allen hit him upside the head, and he saw stars and had to go to the sideline. So if you have never seen two men maul an individual and just like send people flying, look up Eric Williams and Larry Allen. That's the epitome of what an offensive lineman should be. Now, no disrespect to John Hanna and Anthony Munoz and any of the other greats that played the position, but these two men here just were mean. And when I mean mean, I'm talking about beat up Reggie White. That's how mean Eric Williams was. He beat up Reggie White to a point where offensive linemen no longer could accidentally, intentionally, sideways hit a defensive lineman in the head. Now, I benefited from this rule, but I don't think he'd had a shot to hit me in the head that many times. I remember seeing him on the sideline when Jesse Armstead brought him back to the University of Miami when Dallas was on their run in the 90s. And Eric Williams came down to I think it was the Florida State game. You know what I mean? I was on my high horse at this point because I was the finest defensive tackle in America on Saturday afternoon. I didn't know what Sunday was about yet, but I was the finest on Saturday. And I'm looking at this big monster standing on my sideline. I'm like, get a helmet and get on the other side. Let's see what you got. He looked at me like, boy, you don't want none of this. I said, boy, play on Tarzan and Cheetah quit. So ain't no boys over here. I'll get my shot in a minute. They gonna draft me and I'll get my shot. Unfortunately, he had a car accident and he wasn't quite the player he was, but boy, looked like he was even meaner when he was finishing out his years. And injuries and some other stuff took a toll on him. But other than that, Eric Williams, the finest right tackle to ever play the game before the car accident, and take my hat off to my man up in Cincinnati, Willie Anderson. He's so beautiful. He is the right tackle that we are looking over at the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. And speaking of the Hall of Fame, let's get into the class because this summer's going to be beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful. We talking about Raymond Lewis going in. And I have an issue with Brian Urlacher being on the same level with Ray Lewis because we're talking about first ballot. And then no NFL locker room, GM meeting room, training room, sidebar. Can you put these two men on the same level and say they're the same on a first ballot? Because me sitting with Johnny Randall every year, because that's my dude, and we play golf, we have a couple cold beverages, have a really good time together. He was not a first ballot Hall of Fame, and he had to remind me of this when I went in. And I'm like, wait a minute. You wasn't first ballot? He's like, nah, dawg, I wasn't first ballot. I'm like, wait a minute, dog, you got 137 and a half sacks. You got the most sacks from any defense. No, dog, I wasn't first ballot. I'm like, and I ain't, crazy as I am, I ain't even think ask him what was that call like when you don't get it and, what was the feeling, because that's something you just don't ask. That's just not something that you even put in your mind. But I was really thinking about, like, what? You not first ballot? But now they finna tell me that Brian Urlacher and Ray Lewis is on the same level, first ballot Hall of Famers. No, and no. Seth Joyner, Wilbert Marshall got the same numbers as Brian Urlacher, except a defensive player of the year. And we know sometimes that could be a popularity contest. And I have one. And I tell you this because the year I won it, I had 12 and a half sacks, and we were the darling of the National Football League, and we went all the way to the NFC Championship game and lost the game. And then the following year, I had 16 and a half sacks. At the time, the third most by a defensive tackle in history, and I finished third. I'm like, how I finished third and have 16 and a half, and I finished first and have 12 and a half? Now, I know who's playing and when I'm playing well. I was dominant in 2000. 99 was just the year to Sapp because I got the trophy, but it was just one of those years when everything came together and we got on one of those nasty runs, and Hardy was leading us the right way, and Brooks and myself was growing into the first ballot Hall of Famers that we are, 280 and 281 respectively, back to back, just as we were drafted. First round, back to back. And I want to congratulate Mr. Terrell Owens for getting in the Hall of Fame. But I want to discongratulate Terrell Owens for saying something wild about the Cowboys. Now, I'm a Cowboy since I was knee-high to a jackrabbit. And whenever you're in an organization and you've been in one or more, you usually have to pick one. Unless you're me. I'm not picking one because John Gruden just went back to Oakland, and I'm going to see Oakland. I'm going to help them if they ask. No doubt about it. Raider Nation, one time. Why is Jason Garrett still the Cowboys coach? Is that a question for Terrell? You know what? How do we say this? Terrell? Because I know his grandma, God bless her soul, in Tennessee didn't say Terrell. She said Terrell. So he's Terrell. When you're on Route 99, put your seatbelt on. There it is. I'm going to say it. That's what it's going to be. And I don't even know how you get to questioning the Jason Garrett thing, because we know Jerry Jones going to do what Jerry Jones want to do. And Jerry Jones ain't paying two coaches. Simple. Johnny Football. Johnny Football going to see if he like cold football, because when you're in Canada, that thing is cold and wide. But, maybe he'll do the Cameron Wake, go up there and have 2 great years, and, somebody will say, we'll take a shot on Johnny Football again, because Johnny got to tell us that he liked football again, because Johnny went to the Heisman, won it. Congratulations. And after that, I think football became a back door or back pleasure or side room or something for him, because that was not football he was playing. Vincent Jackson just joined the Has-Been Club. Welcome, brother. It was funny. I was out there. We was at the Bo Jackson thing, and I forgot to mention my brother Ed Reed, because, what a demon. That will be our 8th Hall of Famer, or 9th, depending on which years. Which I think he retired before Andre, because Ray will be our 7th Hall of Famer from the University of Miami. That's right, the Canes. Right now we got a 6-pack. It's about to be a 7, and then that's coming 8. And then Andre's coming is 9, and then Frank Gore coming is 10, and we're going to find a way to get EJ in, because EJ got more yards to pack away than Terrell Davis. So somebody's going to have to tell me something, because it's about the longevity of a career, ain't it? Not 2, 3, 4 years. The Browns will be on Hard Knocks. HBO, I'm just glad it ain't the Bucs again. Leave my quarterback alone. Let him and he just proposed to his wife. That's my dog, Jameis Winston. And speaking of Jameis Winston, Mike Florio had some stuff to say out his mouth that was sideways. Let me take a deep breath, too. I was reading this on the Pewter Report, because, that's how I get my Buck news at the Pewter Report. Scott Reynolds and the boys over there in Tampa do a wonderful job. I do love y'all for the work you do, because, hey, I can't keep up with it all, and y'all give me a real good chance to keep up with it. The Browns on Hard Knocks. Mike Florio talking wild about my quarterback. I'm going to finish both these thoughts right now. Mike Florio, get off your high horse. I don't know what your problem is. I don't know what you're going through, but I've been in Tampa Bay country for a long time, since I was knee-high to a jackrabbit, but I was just a Cowboy fan, because they used to beam the Battle of the Bays in my TV in Orlando. Oh. And I'm sitting here watching the finest quarterback that's ever put on a Buccaneer uniform in his franchise history. And you want to tell me if they cut him today that 31 other teams would not sign him and no one would make him a starter? Ooh, let's get over back up to the Browns. Because you know what? I was thinking in my mind, HBO, do y'all not want me to watch it? But you know what? Ain't nothing like a train wreck. Ain't nothing like watching a train wreck. I mean, I've never seen one personally, but I've seen, like the ones on YouTube where Buddy walking on the thing and the train come by and swiping by the face. Ain't nothing like watching a travesty that you expected to happen and it happens. Oh, come on. What? This is going to be prime time TV. HBO, do not disappoint me. This is uncensored TV. This is cable. I'm paying for it. Give it to us, and give it to us raw. Man, the NFL is slowed down to a point where It is really slow. OTAs. You know what? Let me tell y'all something about a good old OTA story. Me and Keyshawn Johnson was out at the 1999 Pro Bowl, well after the 1999 season, so I guess it was 2000 when it was the actual Pro Bowl that year, but it was after the 99 year. I'm Defensive Player of the Year. We just lost the NFC Championship game 11-6. So my whole coaching staff is there, the owners, everybody under the sun. Tell y'all a backstory. They wanted to fire our offensive coordinator, Mike Shula, because we didn't score enough points to win the game. And Tony Dungy stood up for him and said, you got to fire the whole staff. And our owners was like, I'm going to call you bluff. And they're like, all right, we'll pack up. And they're like, whoa. Then we'll have to we'll have to get a whole new coaching staff for the Pro Bowl. They was like, whoa. You know what? I got to take my hat off to Mike Shula. Don Shula's kid, 347 wins. One of the greatest coaches of all time. He stood up like a man and said, no, fellas, no. No, coach. Everybody sit down, unpack your bags. I'll take this bullet. We woke up the next day. We didn't have an offensive coordinator, but we got the Pro Bowl underway and, got everything going. Keyshawn comes up to me and says, hey, man, I'm telling you, dog, you score 6 points, I got 6 for you. That'll win the game. I'm thinking, me, I'm a very simple guy. 6, that's 12. I'll take it. You know what? So I go to the lobby and coach all week long. Coach this, coach that, The man, seemed good, wife, kid. My wife and kid hanging out with him at the pool and, they good, talking good. I mean, good people. Nothing wrong with the wife, kid. Keyshawn seems like he wants to do this. We're going to go to work. Signed him to a $56 million deal. So got the deal done. Got him down. So now it's time for what they've now invented as OTAs. And I'm like, OTAs? What is this? Organized team activity. I'm like, all right, you ain't got to name it. Just, put it on the schedule and say, we coming over here to work, because I don't know no other place that I become a better 3 technique or a better defensive tackle or a better teammate than around my teammates doing the things that we need to do on a Sunday afternoon to go get me a championship, because they let me at the King's table at the NFC Championship game, but they didn't let me sit down. They let me walk in and look at the King's table. It was like, this is what gets laid out in front of you when you get ready to go to the Super Bowl. But they didn't let me sit down because you had to earn the right to sit down. So I went, okay, I need me some points. And Keyshawn coming up with a nice bright idea. I said, nothing wrong with it, brother. Come on. Get him down here. Now it's time for OTAs and no Keyshawn. I'm like, okay, let me get on the phone. Boop, 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 boop. Yo, brother, what's good? Hey, man, what good, man? I said, dog, where you at? In California. I said, I kind of gathered that, but what are you doing in California? Oh, just chilling at the crib, down here by the beach. And no. We have a beach here in Florida. You know what? Actually, we got 2 beaches. You can go on the east or the west coast or the south side. 3 of them. It's a peninsula, buddy. I got water everywhere. You can send the kids over to Disney World. They can go with Mickey Mouse. They can go over to Islands of Adventures. They can go to It's a Small World. All of that good stuff, brother. Right here in Florida. Come. We got OTAs. It's time for us to get organized with a team and an activity. And the activity is football. I need you down here. I need you to come get this thing on with me and my boys. Oh, man, it's hot. What? You didn't realize that when you were signing the contract, you was coming to a place that was going to be a little warm around June, July, August, when we have to train to go into September and then into the fall? Ooh, and into the winter? Yeah, come on. I'm going to check the schedule and get back. Man, click. All right. So now I want to know what is going on with the OTAs around the National Football League, because I know what's going on in Oakland, because the one thing about John Gruden, we're about to find out if this young generation wants to be coach, because John Gruden does not believe in sparing the rod and saving the child. He is going to let you have it. And we're going to find out if these kids are interested in more than 3 things. And the 3 things they are interested in, just my opinion now, is Route99. Likes, views, and followers. Because if you ain't liking what I'm doing, you ain't following what I'm doing, and you ain't viewing my videos, then you a hater. Really? I don't think it's very interesting. I find some of it all right. I'll pass by it and peek and look for a second if, it happened to be on my Explore page, because what you follow and who you follow kind of, dictates that page, as I was understanding it. I'm like, not a problem. And I don't look through that much, but when I do see something that kind of looks all right, I'll check it out. But, hey, man, us old folks is tough to follow. Like my grandma used to say, old habits hard to break, cheering. So I hope when they get into these OTAs, they're getting a little work done with their offense and defensive line, because that's how you build a football team. That's how you build a football team, is from your interior with your offense and defensive line. And I was sitting with Richard Dent, John Randall, Seth Joyner, some lovely defenders. The offensive line and the defensive line is where you have to build your football team, because when it gets cold in November and December, it is what you will remember, is what I'm saying to you now. You must have you an offensive line. Because 7-on-7, I love what they're doing around the country, and I love all them beautiful zigzag and, Michael Jackson moves outside that I be seeing on the Instagram post that they be putting up there. I'm like, what the hell they going to get that kind of time to run that route? But it's all right, Well, 7-on-7 is for timing and execution, fellas. It's not your highlight reel. Don't even think about it. It's not your highlight reel. Get yourself out there and work on what you need to work on, your footwork, your hand placement, how you get off the ball. I saw my man Reggie Wayne, another Cane that, you know what, I got to keep going. Reggie Wayne will be our 11th Cane in the Hall of Fame. That's what we did at the University of Miami. Perfection was unattainable, but we were going to trample greatness and kiss excellence. It was about a perfection, 12-0. When I went to the University of Miami. Taught by the great Mike Barrow. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win. Jesse Armstead is cool with me. Darren Smith made me reinvent myself, because I've never seen a faster linebackers other than Derek Brooks. Those two, Derek Brooks and Darren Smith. Derek Brooks, in high school, I met him at the Florida-Georgia game. 17-year-old USA Today Defensive Player of the Year, valedictorian of his high school class. I'm like, is there anything else? Is he gonna run for president? Then I meet him, and he's nothing but a football player, but a great man and a wonderful father and a beautiful husband. So that's my doom, and I give him love all the day long. And him and Darren Smith changed my life, because Darren Smith made me a defensive tackle, because I found out I can't run away from linebackers at 280. You just can't do it. And no matter how you had to reinvent the route and whip it and change it and switch it around, it comes down to, can you get it run? Can you run? Can you run away from him? Can you get away from him? Can you get open? And Darren Smith made me realize, no, I can't. And so did Darren Williams, All-American safety from the University of Miami. I mean, I was surrounded by greatness, and I wanted to be great. Route 99, I want to send a shout-out to all the loved ones of the Santa Fe High School shooting. 13 wounded, 9 students, 1 teacher dead. And on Route 99, we show love wherever it needs to be. And another 9-9, J.J. Watt, will be paying for the funerals. I tip my hat to you, big fella. Do the right thing always. 9-9 and 9-9 love, and more love to the Santa Fe community, because it's just a tragedy. Route 99, I got sidetracked because, sometimes that happens. The CTE acted a little bit, and, a little medicine in the memory ain't what it used to be. And I'm getting old, 45. I'll be 46 in December. And if you want to get me a present, I need one of them Corvell wine things that you stick down in there and got the little thing on top that you have to lean it. I had showed that this weekend out in Vegas by my man G-Dub, who was the 1978 backgammon champion. All right, the Hall of Fame class: Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher, Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Brian Dawkins, Robert Brazile, Jerry Kramer. See what I'm telling you? You got to build it from the inside. Jerry Kramer, one of the greatest offensive linemen. Pull that thing. I'm talking about pull, get in that alley, wrap around, You know, if y'all don't know this, you have to watch NFL Network whenever you see Jared Kramer on there telling stories about his old teammates, because ain't nothing like one of your teammates tell a story, because it's so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I look at Randy Moss, and I call him the ultimate weapon whenever he played. First time we saw him, we were going up to Minnesota, and unfortunately I had some kind of injury. I think an ankle or something happened the week before, and I wasn't able to go. And me and Steve White was at the breakfast table. Steve White from the University of Tennessee. That's right. Go Vols. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. All right. Yep. Me and him sitting at the breakfast table, and Steve come over with a stack of pancakes, about 5, 6 deep, bacon, eggs, hash brown, another plate with chicken and mashed potatoes, and I think he had enough. Yeah, he had 3. And then had a spaghetti plate. I'm looking at Steve, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He was like, finna go watch a football game for 3 hours. I'm like, you ain't playing this week either? He's like, nah, that's why I'm sitting over here at the table with you. I'm like, oh, this is the disabled table? He's like, yeah, we know you ain't playing, so whoever goes not play, sit over here with you. I'm like, oh, really? I'm at the don't play table. Thanks. So I look at him, I'm like, this man is eating like a runaway slave. This just don't make no sense. I go over and give him a nice little 2 breasts and green peas, and I still got to throw something green on my plate because I'm just hoping the boys going to rush today because Randy Moss is in the house, and if they got any kind of time, it's going to be a long day. Unbeknownst to me, they didn't need much time. We coming out of the first quarter. Randy Moss has 3 catches for 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's 21-0. Brooks and the boys are walking off the field. I meet him halfway. I say, yo, Brooks. He look at me. Yo, Doom. I say, hey, buddy, you might want to slow them down. They on an 84-point pace right now. He look at me kind of funny. I look at him. I say, it's 21 in the first. 21 again is 42. 21, I say, it's simple math, Brooks. That's 80. They are on an 84-point pace. Brooks, look. I say, yeah, yeah. We don't give up these kind of points in a month. So maybe in 2 months. What are you talking about? I mean, this man ran the top off of our cover 2. It was just that simple. I mean, when we got to him the next time, I told Lynch, I say, man, forget the disguise. Go over the top of him right now. If you're not in position, there's no way you have a chance to make the play because he's going to jump over you then. I mean, he just the man was just almost unstoppable. I mean, one time he ran a route on run day, and there was a back fade, and I mean, run day was all in his chest. I mean, I don't even know how Randy saw the ball, and he just sticks it with one hand. Run day comes back to the huddle. He has the most bewildered look on his face, like someone just shot his dog, slapped his mom, and kicked his dad. I looked at Run day. I said, hey, man, wake up. He looked up at me. Well, bah. I said, hey, that is Randy Moss. There's going to be a bunch of highlights on a bunch of people. We're in the lead right now, buddy. Shake that one off. But I say, I saw it. You were right in his chest, and the ball shouldn't have been able to get to him, and there's no way for him to catch it. Yeah, I'm watching it, and he catches it. But dog, I say, man, let's talk about this tomorrow, where we can go drink about it afterwards. Because right now we're in the middle of a football game, and I don't have time to put you on the couch and get you out of this funk right now. But wake up. Route 99, I have the distinct pleasure of being joined and giving y'all the knowledge from the Hall of Fame historian, Joe Horrigan. Good afternoon, Joe.
Good afternoon, Warren. Pleasure to be with you.
Oh, it's always good to be where I can learn something. All right, the Hall of Fame class come out. We got us a new class going in, and give me the particulars and all the good stuff.
Well, as you know, every class is a good class, or they wouldn't be in there. But this one is one of those classes that I think I'm very proud of the selectors because they made hard choices. The 15 finalists or the 18 finalists, counting the seniors and contributors, were really, really good candidates. But this is a diverse group. We've got everything from a general manager to a senior who's been waiting a long time in Jerry Kramer, and to some overdue candidates, that obviously deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but had to wait a long time. And then we have some first year guys, that obviously you think it's hard enough to get in the Hall of Fame. It is, but to make it on your first ballot, that's pretty tough. So it was a real challenge for the selectors to do, but I think they came up with maybe one of the greatest classes ever.
You know what? I'm looking at the class, and there's 3 first ballot Hall of Famers, and there's a certain class that I'm very familiar with that has 3 first ballot Hall of Famers in it too. and I'm looking at this class, and I like the list, but I'm taking 2013 over this one, Joe. I know Randy Moss is in it, and a full-grown Rottweiler and Ray Lewis that I raised from a kid at the University of Miami is in it too. But I'm taking 2013 over that one, Joe.
Well, you can say you've got your fingers on this one too. So there's no such thing as a bad Hall of Fame class. It's just the degrees of excellence that change ever so slightly. But obviously we get a little more excited each year with the present class too. So what's fresh in your mind right away, all of a sudden carries a little more weight with you too, I think.
No doubt about it. And you know what, we welcome Terrell Owens into the boys club, who was long overdue in my opinion. And
sure,
Randy Moss, I call the ultimate weapon, the 6th first ballot Hall of Famer receiver of all time. Now that's some elite company.
Yeah, that people forget. It's one thing when we talk about a Hall of Fame class. Obviously, we're picking from the best of the best of the best. But when you start getting, positionally, how do you compare a great wide receiver like Randy Moss to a great guard, let's say? I mean, it's you have to keep this balance.
You're gonna need some balance to do those two things, no doubt about it.
No, it's a challenge, and I give our selectors a lot of credit because they're under a lot of pressure, and everybody in the world has criticizes, but never calls them back and says thank you. You did a great job.
Oh no! You're not gonna get one of those calls. You're not gonna get one of those calls at all. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at Jerry Kramer's name, and I'm like, no way. I mean, that's the counter tray. I mean, that's the alleyway. That's what a galloping ghost ran through. I mean, come on, you have. I know the people who vote for the Hall of Fame, because they've changed it since I got in, right? It's not the 44 anymore. It's a different number, right?
Yep, we're up to 48 now. Yep.
It's 48 now. Okay, so they've changed that around a little bit, and I know they know that the game is built in the trenches.
Yeah.
I mean, my class is littered with linemen. I mean, that's where you win the game at. That's where you turn people over and move people because.
We're going to make this point all the time, is that there are certain players who are involved in every single play, and they are largely the players in the trenches and the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback handles the ball every play, center handles it. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen are constantly doing the same thing, but they have to be aware of what everyone else is doing. Now, I don't mean to say that the quote unquote skilled positions aren't aware of what's going on, but I'm going to say, if you're a wide receiver and it's a running play, you probably
they chilling. So they chilling. I'll say it for you. They chilling.
So, there's not a center or a middle linebacker or a tackle that's taking a play off because they can't. If they get beat, the play's over.
You definitely got that right. So, how many first ballot linebackers we have? Because I don't keep up with no linebackers because they behind me benefiting.
One too many.
That's the number you give me. I love it. And Robert Brazile, you know what? That name leaves me, because I have Curly Culp in my team, so that kind of, in my class, so that kind of gave me a little history on him. I need a little history on Robert Brazile.
Well, Robert is one of those guys, and I really think that this is a guy that is so has been so overlooked. And it happens, and you go all the way back to Robert. When he played, he came out of an HBCU, which was a challenge enough back in the 60s and into the 70s. But he was just one of these dominant players, a first-round draft pick, and he was a guy that I don't know if you took a playoff against Robert Brazile, you were done. and he would have you for the rest of the game. And he's coming out of Jackson State. His roommate and his dear friend was Walter Payton. Now, people would talk about the two of them as the best offensive player and the best defensive player coming into pro football at the time. Now, obviously, we all know about Walter Payton, but Robert was just as dominant as a linebacker, I think, as anyone playing the game at that time. But even with Walter Payton, I'm afraid he wasn't getting the same kind of look-see coming out of Jackson State as if he might have been coming out of USC or Notre Dame or Michigan. So he had a little bit of a hurdle to climb to begin with, but he transformed, the Houston Oilers. I mean, this was a team that was on the verge of being very good, but he got there and said, and they made 3 straight playoff appearances, 78 through 80. He was just one of these guys that you can appreciate his numbers, just 185 tackles, 95 solo, 98 assisted. I mean, he was always in the play every play. He had 13 interceptions, 14 fumble recoveries, all pro 5 straight years. His quiet demeanor, and not too many linebackers are quiet.
Tell me about it.
His quiet demeanor, I think, kept him off of the radar a little bit too. We had a hard time finding him in his retirement.
You know what? I got a quiet demeanor guy that got about 12,000 rushing yards. I like to get in the hall too. Those quiet demeanor guys are something special. Yeah, I know exactly what that case right there is. So no doubt about it. And Bobby Beathard is our GM, right?
Yep. And Bobby transformed several different teams. But now, if you can imagine this, you remember the show The Odd Couple?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here's the consummate odd couple. When Bobby Beathard was in school at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, I can't even say it, Obispo.
Fine enough.
His roommate was John Madden.
Oh.
Now, Bobby Beathard is Mr. Meticulous. I mean, he doesn't have a hair out of place. But he was kind of casual, always casual. The golf shirt and shorts. He's a California guy. John, that's different. John Madden is not Mr. Neat. and Bobby's about a third of his size. So the two of them are roommates together. So that's a visual I'll leave you with.
Oh, my goodness.
But Bobby, everywhere he went, he was one of these guys that everybody loved and everybody respected. They went to Bobby for information. He was kind of the guy that had this eye for talent. And he was a collegiate player, but he was small. He wasn't going to make it as a player. So when he got a chance, to get into personnel, he just ran with it. He built the Redskins, made 5 playoff appearances, in a 6-year span, 2 Super Bowls. The Chargers, he rebuilt the Chargers, and they advanced to their first Super Bowl under his guidance. He's one of these guys that just put it all together for teams. Kansas City, Atlanta, same thing. He's just a masterful guy. And if he's almost Clark Kent if you think about personalities, but just a fantastic talent, great eye for others who are going to excel at the game.
All right, I'm finna test your history. This is the last thing I'm gonna give you, and then you can take your seatbelt off, and then you're free to go. Bobby Beathard won his Super Bowl with an old Buccaneer quarterback on what date?
Doug Williams.
On what date?
Oh, on what date? My goodness, that would, I don't know what the date would be. It would be
the guy that's talking to you won his Super Bowl in the same stadium on the same date.
Wow.
January 26th.
Is that right? See?
Yeah. How crazy is that? I saw it in one of his in Charlie's when he's on the NFL Network. Charlie has his balls behind him, and I saw the date, and I said, "That's my same date in the same stadium. That's nice." With Doug Williams.
Things, Doug. Doug and James Shack Harris. They started the Black College Football Hall of Fame.
Uh-huh.
And these two guys, if you want to sit down in a room sometime and appreciate the road they've traveled, I'm telling you, Warren, you got to get these guys on your show, because Shaq was the first African American quarterback ever to start an opening season game. He did that in 1969 with the Buffalo Bills. And I'll tell you the little story behind the story. Coming out of Grambling, by today's evaluation systems, he'd have been a first-round draft pick. He was a monster in the game. Eddie Robinson is his coach. And in 1969, he was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. And the way he puts it, the Buffalo Bills thought so much of me, they drafted me in the 8th round and sent the ball boy to the airport to pick me up. Well, I was that ball boy. So I go way back with Shaq.
Well, you know how they say it. It comes full circle sometimes, boss.
It does. But I got to tell you, though, really seriously with Shaq, he was a huge talent. Now, he started the opening game in 1969, displacing 2 veteran quarterbacks, Jack Kemp and Tom Flores. And he started, and all the attention, there was some mention of, oh, he's going to be the first black quarterback to start a regular season. But the focus of the world was on his backfield. He had 2 other rookies in the backfield with him. This is the quarterback, fullback, and running back are all rookies. Shaq at quarterback, Earthquake Enyard at fullback, and a guy named O.J. Simpson at halfback. Not a bad start. I mean, 2 of the 3 are no one's watching. But Shaq went on to be the first African American to make a Pro Bowl at quarterback. He was the game's MVP. Had a great career in Los Angeles and San Diego, and he and Doug are obviously great friends coming out of Grambling. But then to Doug to kind of complete that circle you talk about, becoming the first African American quarterback to win MVP honors in the Super Bowl. That was an amazing trail for these 2 friends.
Thank you very much for the knowledge, Joe. You can take your seatbelt off. You're free to go.
My pleasure. Thank you, Warren.
All right, baby.
Take care.
Back to that Hall of Fame class again, and it's Brian Dawkins, a Florida boy. You know what? Ain't nothing like the great Duval. And if you've never been around Jacksonville, and if you're anywhere in the great state of Florida, they gonna scream Duval. If they in your town, they gonna scream Duval. So I know you heard what I'm screaming. Duval. Ain't nothing like another Florida boy joining the club. I wish it was John Lynch. I'm going to tell Brian that to his face, and I'll kiss him and tell him welcome to the beautiful club and the Gold Jackets and all the love that he will get in the beautiful party, because I want to know who the entertainment. Somebody better have a good jam up in there. That's what I'm talking about, because, hey, man, I'm going to be waiting around for the party because the football game is on Thursday night now. It's a whole new setup at the Hall of Fame. Remember that, y'all? The game on Thursday night football. I don't know who's doing it. It could be Chris, or it could be somebody else. No more John Gruden on Monday night. He's in Oakland. All right, that's gonna be a little different. We gotta figure out, did they name anybody? I gotta look that up. Did they name anybody for Monday Night Football yet? Because it's about time to almost play preseason games around this thing. You know what? That's why when you're doing this thing like this here, you gotta have your lovely producer, and I do have one. And that's why he's at work right now, because we're going to figure that thing out. Robert Brazil, the old Houston Oilers. And I know something about them Houston Oilers like that because I got Curly Cope in my class. And like I told you before, Jerry Kramer, one of the finest blockers that ever played the game. You must build your team in the trenches, trench warfare, no doubt about it. And I think Randy Moss will be the 6th first ballot receiver of all time, because I'm the 5th first ballot defensive tackle of all time. The other 4 being Bob Lilly, Mr. Cowboy, Merlin Olsen, Mean Joe Green, and Randy White. Randy Moss is joining some elite company, too. I know Jerry Rice and Steve Largent, because I just saw Steve Largent at the Bo Jackson. And I also saw Sugar Ray Leonard, y'all. Oh, my God. If I look that good when I'm his age, oh, my goodness. He look about 35, y'all. I'm not lying to you, man. I walked up on Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm like, Sugar. He's like, big boy. He took the selfie, y'all. I had to remind myself after he took the selfie, I was on such cloud nine that he wanted a selfie to put in his phone with me and him. I was I was on cloud nine. I almost forgot to take And if you know me, you know I'm a selfie-taking fool, so I don't care. That's right. I'm a kid in the candy store. Whenever I see one of my stars that I grew up with, Gary Sheffield was out there. I grew up to that, too, that monster flicking that bat. I mean, the swing man was out there, Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, I was like a kid in the candy store, man. I was there with all the greats, just having a wonderful time, man. That's what I love. So anybody out there, you got a charity, hit your boy up on the at Route99 Podcast down in the DMs, or just put it in a message. Just tell me what it is, and I hit you with a DM, and then we'll have a conversation or shoot you a number, and we'll get me out to the charity, and we'll have a good time, raise some money for the kids. and do a wonderful job of giving back. Because if we don't make this place better, who will? And like I said, on Route 99, we have a wonderful producer, and it looks like Hasselback's going to do it. You know, I always like Hasselback. He was a good backup because good backups always know what to do, but they're unable to do it, and they're able to get in the booth and draw it up because that's basically what you're doing on TV is taking us through the mind of a quarterback, and that's what Gruden did for the last couple of years and did a wonderful job of it and even taught me something because I really didn't realize Aaron Rodgers put his other foot forward. That was something that I might have saw when I was hunting him because I lived quarterbacks, and any little quirky thing I might have seen, but I disconnected a long time ago from quarterbacks and hunting them, but I will get after them. Route 99 is Warren Sapp for you, doing what you like on the mic, and I am pleased to be joined by one of them great 305 legends we have, the Miami Central high product Florida State. That's right, I got a Florida State Seminole national champ, 4th round pick, 103, 2014, Atlanta Falcons, Mr. Devonta Freeman. What's going on, brother?
Ain't nothing, man. Just hanging in there, man. I appreciate all the kind words. How you doing?
Oh, come on, man. You know what? I'm just going to tell you like this, brother. The intros get longer and better as you do work. So just trust me. And I didn't even get into the highest paid running back in the National Football League, led the National Football League in rushing in 2015, two-time Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
trust me. I want to get to you. Trust me. When you get to a point where they give you a gold jacket,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
I mean, trust me, it just keeps going every time. So I want to ask you, how's your off season and what's going on with you?
Right now, I've been rehabbing my right knee. I had tore my PCL at the end of the season, so I just been working on my body, getting my legs back stronger, my especially my right leg because if I like it or not, that's the issue. So I gotta figure out ways to continue to maintain that for the duration of my career. So just focusing on myself, paying attention to the little things, and enjoying my family much as I could.
I always got to enjoy the family because that's the one thing that's going to never change. No matter how many yards you put up or how much money you make, they're going to always be there for you. So I tell
Always.
you what, how you feeling in the OTAs? What's going on?
Today was my first day. Well, all our first day. It was pretty cool. We got a few reps in. Um, the young boys, they look good. They coming along very well. We all just trying to help bring them along in the brotherhood. I'm a vet. I'm considered a vet now. It's crazy. I remember when I first came in, like it was yesterday. But we just taking it one day at a time and working. Everybody humble and hungry.
Yeah, it's something else when the guys come in and be talking about I watched you in college and shit like that.
Yeah. You know how all that be. I'm like, man, what's your name? And then it's crazy because like a lot of guys, you could tell they was big guys at like uh college, and they come in and it's like, man, you the new kid on the block. You got to start all over, prove yourself again and again. But that's the good thing about this league because you can't get comfortable. I like the fact that every year I'm trying to prove, and get better, working on myself because I owe it to myself.
Yeah, it's called consistency, brother, because the National Football League will tell you 1 year you got lucky, 2 years was a fluke, 3 years now we got something to talk about.
Hey, boy, you nailed it on the head.
No,
You nailed it.
that is an old rule that was told to me when I first walked in 1995, and I'm glad that it's still being implemented in 2018 because I hear so much about how the game has changed and they ain't like when y'all played Sapp. I'm like, well, a lot about it has changed, but so much of it is still the same, and
A lot of
especially in a locker room.
A lot of it. Yeah. A lot of it's still the same.
Yeah, passed down from generation to generation. It'll be the 98th season of the National Football League this year come up. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
See,
98 season.
98. You'll be around for the 100. When I looked up, it was like 90 something. I'm like, nah, I won't make it to 100.
Dang.
I'm like, nah, I don't even make it to 90. I didn't even make it to 90. I'm like, nah, yeah, I'm going to the house. I've had enough of it. So what's the expectation this year for the Atlanta Falcons?
I just say more consistent and everybody staying healthy, figuring out ways individually how to stay healthy. If that's eating right, sleeping right, little things like that. Being more consistent we need to be consistent and understanding, how to work and how to be a pro. And, we're just trying to take one game at a time and get back to the big goal, and that's the Super Bowl. But it's going to take a lot of hard work, and I'm ready for it. We ready for it.
Well, y'all do know the path, and you just got to finish what you started. That's that's the beautiful thing about going on the journey itself.
I know what it took to get there.
Yeah. But now you just got to go and finish what you started, and hey, the journey will always teach you about the game that we know and love. And I'm glad you're out here doing the good stuff and working hard and controlling your body and working on your body, because your body's your business, young fella. If you don't take care of that machine will break down.
It will.
I was looking at your Instagram and I saw you passing out the bikes to the kids. Tell me about it. Come on.
Yeah, so I just remember coming up, we didn't have like too many people, giving back and coming back, and there was some guys that had made it and stuff, and that we really looked up to, that we would have loved and enjoyed to do things like what I did. One guy who did make an impact on me and it stuck with me forever was Uncle Luke, one of your good friends, and he left the impact on me since I was young, and I was just always like, man, I want to be like him. I want to give back to the kids. And he's a celebrity. He busy, but he still had 2-3 hours out the day to coach us and stuff. And little stuff like that goes a long way. It grabbed me at a young age, and I was highly motivated by it. And I remember meeting you, and I was like 10 years old, and it was like this one Sapp, like I'm really meeting in Orlando, wild world full of sports.
Yeah.
And like just that little stuff, like when I met you, how genuine you was to me. And I ain't know this would leave an impact on me for the rest of my life. I remember that day like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in the back of my head. I didn't know it'll leave that type of impact. So I just want to leave a good impact on the youth and be able to touch the community where it seems like there's no hope at, and do little things and give back. It don't even take much. It's light, little bikes here, basketball goals, baseball gloves, kickball, stuff like that.
Yeah, because when you come and you ain't got nothing, everything is something. I mean, I remember every Christmas my mother made sure that I had a bike. I mean, that was the one thing that I always wanted every Christmas was a bike, so I could get on it and dream that I was going somewhere outside the hood,
Exactly.
If I pedal this thing fast enough, I might be able to take off and just fly myself up out of here.
Exactly. I know how it is. I came up on the bike. My bike was my car. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why, kid, you can ride this to school. You can lock it up. You do what you need to do with it. I see it more than just giving away a bike. It's a car. If you ain't able to, you don't need no gas money. All you might need to do is pack it up in there.
You got to get that Chevrolet going. You got to roll that left foot and rev that right one. No doubt about it, baby. Hey, man, I love what you're doing, brother. And I'm gonna share something with you because Luther might not tell you this. I had a shoulder surgery that year, and he called me up and said, man, I got me a championship football team down here, dog. You got to see this. I'm like, what? You always been telling me about this. He said, no. This year I got me a team. I got me a team. I said, well, what you need? I need me a sponsor. I said, well, what you need, baby? He told me the price. I said, you got it. No doubt about it. So that's why I was there at that Wild World of Sports. Because I had gave him, he told me he needed a sponsor, and I gave the sponsor. He's like, that's your team. I didn't even know that, bro. You got, this your team. I'm like, and now I see you and it come full circle to me. I'm like, man, this is crazy the way life is sometimes, man. Each one teach one.
I know that, bro. Like,
I gave back, Luke give back, now you giving back. Now that's how it's supposed to work.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like little. And then you ain't do that to like showboat nobody.
No, it wasn't. No, and you ain't either. No, it ain't about that. It's about the kindness in your heart and knowing that someone needs, and you can fill that void.
Exactly. And know, like, I know now how I feel. I watch you and I watch Uncle Luke. It made me feel good that I could put a smile on somebody's face. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, it's little stuff, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say thank you, like, cause that's it go a long way. But like a lot of people don't know, I knew you since I was like 10 years old.
Oh, baby, little baby.
You know what I'm saying?
The old quarterback that was running the whole show.
A quarterback at that, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, though, man.
Hey, man, truly blessing, brother. You go ahead and get your groove on, and I thank you for joining me. You can take your seatbelt off. You're free to go.
All right, Warren, man. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Be good, baby. good fella. Miami Central product. You know what it is. Florida boys. We do it the way we do it. Route 99. One Sapp. NBA Finals are almost here because we got the East and the West. Conference Finals going on right now. And, oh, my goodness. Steph Curry woke up, y'all. I don't know who put something in his bouillon or little mama kissed him on the way out the door or the Infinity drove him a different route or something. I don't know what it was, but boy, I looked at a young man last night, y'all, that young man wanted to do something special, and he brought back the shimmy. When you get that shimmy going, and you know what? I want a lesson to all the young players out there, because if you watch the game, you watch the young man who didn't have his shot outside, and then he went to the hole. Because I remember hearing Doug Collins used to say that back in the 90s when, he was talking about the game. If you got your jumper off, you go to the line, you go to the hole, you get a layup or two, you get to find the rhythm, you get a little adrenaline going, and then you go back to your spot. And, it was like deja vu for me. I was watching Stephanie went to the hole, boom, layup. The reverse one, that was the one that really got him going because that got the juices flowing. And then he came down and looked at Harden and went behind the back, and he just needs a crack. And that was wide open for Steph. Oh, my goodness. And when he bottomed that one, ooh, the shimmy came out, and the crowd went to yelling, Warriors, Warriors. I've been in that place. When I had my 4 years out in Raider Nation, there is not a finer arena to get going. You know what? The one up in Sacramento is pretty nasty, too. They got just loud places in California. I don't know why they build them into the ground or something. I don't know what it is, but oh, my goodness. And their fans are passionate. That place was rocking. Kevin Durant did his thing, as always. Clay chipping in. And Draymond half cleaning up the paint. Ain't quite what I like, but he's doing a pretty good job of it, and they're up 2-1 on Houston. Harden got to find a way, and they got to find a way not to be just such a one-on-one team. Absolutely not to be a one-on-one team. Come on, man. It's 5 of y'all. You found your bench players the other night, Ariza, PJ, and the big guy, Kapka. No, it ain't Kapka. It's something. Capella. There it is. Capella. I had to look and see him. Hey, I'm getting old, y'all. Forgive me. Capella, they find their 3 in the Gordon kid. There it is. Gordon 2. It was all 4 of them. Capella had the paint. Gordon, Ariza, and PJ Tucker. The dead woke up. Because what I saw last night, the dead has arisen again. They were not ready to perform on the stage. You go on the road, man. You can't come out lackadaisical like they did in that third quarter, because Golden State is the best NBA team coming out of halftime and jumping on you. Man. I don't know what tape they watching, but evidently somebody put it in slow-mo or somebody skipped the third quarter, because that is not how you come out against the Golden State Warriors in the third quarter. Now, back to the East. Yeah, that's right. I ain't staying on the West that long, but I live out here, so don't go there. That's right. Did LeBron find a blueprint? Always to the Celtics. LeBron is the kryptonite to any Celtic anything. Because I remember back when he was in Cleveland the first time, and he put up 46, 15, and 5. And it was the first time an NBA player had did that since Wilt Chamberlain in 1964. And for a little perspective on this, at that time in 1964, a black man couldn't vote. And then at the time LeBron did this, a black man was sitting in the office. It was back when Obama was in the chair, when he was in the Cleveland the first time. That was a game 6 that he bombed him. He bombed him in that game 6. LeBron's always been the kryptonite, and I heard the Morris kids, I need to guard him better. Listen, son, the man is 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", 260 plus pounds. He's Magic Johnson size, moving like Michael Jordan. Not one man on earth can handle that. He either has to have an off night, you got to have some help. I mean, come on, man. Make him kick it to Love, make Love shoot it, make JR shoot it in your face, because it don't even matter how close you to him. He going to shoot it regardless. I mean, make somebody else beat you. That's your old additive in basketball. Don't let the superstar beat you. Make the role players become superstars in that basketball game, and then you see where you at, because, I mean, Rozier said the best thing I've heard come out of Boston in a long time. We needed to get our butts kicked. Because I guess he was in the locker room hearing all the, oh, yeah, baby, we got it. No, you don't. 2-0 is nothing in a basketball series. Michael Jordan never saw us Game 7. So understand what it is when you young kids out there talking about how great LeBron is, because y'all YouTube don't want to go back to Michael. Because when I was in college, first one to 90 won the game. Because you had blood by the time the fourth quarter rolled around. You were good and tired from the beating you took in the first 3 quarters. I mean, you ain't have no legs to be talking about going. It was just a different game. I love these games now when we got 100-plus points. Remind me of my, elementary days and junior high when I was watching the Celtics and, the old days, Celtics and the Lakers and the Sixers and the fights with Boston and Bird. I mean, yeah, Boston Bird and Dr. J. Yeah, chairman of the boards was down there, Moses Malone, all that goodness. Yeah, it's a different game right now, but it's a wonderful game, and I'm going to enjoy what we got going, and LeBron is the greatest of this era. But have all basketball people or good-thinking people forgot that there's one exception to all rules in basketball when we're talking about who's the greatest of all time? Goliath? Wilt Chamberlain, the 100-point man, a man who averaged more minutes in an NBA season than they were minutes in an NBA season, because there was some overtime game. The man averaged over 48 minutes. The man led the NBA in assists from the center position. They outlawed the dunk on him. They widened the lane on him. Come on, man. Stop it. It's Wilt Chamberlain, and then we can have a talk about everybody else, because it's definitely Wilt by himself. I mean, it just was no stopping him. I mean, stop it. Whenever you talk about the game, if it ain't Wilt Chamberlain and then let's talk about everybody else, then we're not having an honest discussion. Route 99. Episode 3 in the books. Yeah, your boy 99 doing what you like on the microphone. But next week, I have a very, very, very special guest. And ain't no telling where in the hell we going next week. So, you know what it is. You're going to need your astronaut belt. You're going to need Horrigan from the House of Pain to strap you in, because we going hard like never before. Tune in. It's getting hot in here.